Lieutenant Sarah Davis stifled a yawn as she monitored the deep space sensor array aboard Orbital Defense Station Artemis. 12 hours into her shift, the holographic displays showed nothing but the usual asteroids and space debris that had become familiar during her 3-year assignment. She reached for her coffee mug when a soft alarm chimed through the monitoring station. "That's odd," she muttered, setting down her mug and leaning forward. The quantum detection grid had picked up something massive appearing at the edge of the solar system, just beyond Neptune's orbit. The energy signature didn't match any known human vessel. Within minutes, Commander Eliza Chen was awakened in her quarters aboard the experimental warship Defiance. As she hurried to the bridge, the ship's AI updated her on the developing situation. The Defiance had been conducting routine stealth system tests in high Earth orbit when the alert came through. "Status report," Chen demanded as she stepped onto the bridge, her dark hair pulled back in a regulation bun, eyes alert despite the early hour. "Ma'am, we're tracking multiple objects that appeared without warning near Neptune," replied Lieutenant Commander Jackson Wei, her executive officer. "They didn't arrive through conventional faster-than-light methods. They simply materialized. Current count is 7 vessels, all massive in scale. Largest one measures approximately 12 kilometers in length." Chen's expression remained neutral, but her pulse quickened. Humanity had never encountered alien life, though they had been preparing for the possibility since discovering the artifacts beneath the Martian ice caps 20 years ago. Those relics had accelerated human technology by centuries, allowing for the creation of ships like the Defiance, vessels that appeared unremarkable but contained revolutionary systems that remained classified at the highest levels. "Are they moving toward Earth?" Chen asked. "Yes, Mom. At current velocity, they'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours. Chen nodded. "Send encrypted notification to FleetCom. Authorization, Chen Alpha 70. Tell them we're moving to intercept and assess." As the Defiance and 2 sister ships, the Intrepid and Resolute, adjusted their trajectories, the mysterious vessels continued their approach. From external appearances, the human ships looked like standard military vessels, nothing that would suggest the technological marvels hidden within their hulls. 4 hours later, the alien fleet had reached Mars orbit when they finally responded to human hailing attempts. The main view screen on the Defiance's bridge activated, revealing a being unlike anything humans had ever seen. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with iridescent scales and 6 limbed appendages, the alien regarded the humans with compound eyes that reflected the bridge lights in kaleidoscopic patterns. "I am Supreme Commander Varric of the Vordax Imperium," the being announced, its words translated through a complex algorithm. "Your species has been assessed and found inadequate for partnership status. You will surrender your world and serve the Imperium, or face immediate eradication." Chen's face betrayed no emotion as she responded. "This is Commander Eliza Chen of Earth's Defense Force. We are a sovereign species and have no intention of surrendering. We request peaceful dialogue." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Dialogue is for equals, human. You have 24 of your hours to prepare your world leaders for submission. Any resistance will be met with overwhelming force." As the transmission ended, Chen exchanged a knowing glance with Commander Wei. Both officers had trained their entire careers for this moment. "Begin Chimera Protocol," Chen ordered quietly. "It's time to show these superiors what humanity is truly capable of." Throughout the solar system, disguised defense platforms began powering up systems that had remained dormant for years, waiting for the day Earth would need to reveal its true strength to the stars. The massive Vordax vessels positioned themselves in Earth's orbit, their crystalline structures catching sunlight and casting prismatic shadows over major cities below. Panic spread across the planet as the alien ships, each larger than Manhattan, hovered ominously overhead. Global news networks broadcast continuous footage of the otherworldly armada, while governments attempted to maintain order. Aboard the Defiance, Commander Chen studied tactical displays showing the Vordax fleet formation. Their ships had arranged themselves in a perfect hexagonal pattern, mathematically precise in a way that suggested both advanced computational capabilities and rigid thinking. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Communications Officer Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez. "They're demanding that Earth's leaders convene at the United Nations headquarters to formalize our surrender." Chen nodded. "As expected, they're following standard conquest protocol, at least according to the Martian archives." In the engineering section, Dr. Sofia Torres made final calibrations to the ship's quantum displacement system, technology that bent space in ways the Vordax believed impossible for primitive species. The system's activation would be the linchpin of humanity's response. Chief Engineer to Bridge, Torres called over the comm. "Chimera systems are at 97% synchronization across all platforms. We'll be ready on your mark." Chen acknowledged the report before turning to Tactical Officer Lieutenant Rady Mehta. "What's the status of our sister ships and defense platforms?" "All in position, Commander," Mehta replied. "The Vordax haven't even bothered scanning them. They're dismissing our maintenance vessels and satellites as non-threats. Their attention is focused entirely on the planet." On the main view screen, a live feed showed the United Nations General Assembly, where Secretary General Kimura addressed the emergency session. His words were measured, buying precious time as Earth's real defense plan unfolded. "We should establish dialogue before considering any irreversible decisions," Kimura stated to the assembled representatives. "We request 48 hours to formulate our response." The Vordax ambassador, a towering figure flanked by guards with chitinous armor, stepped forward. "You have been granted 24 hours. This is not negotiable. Your species' potential for development has been measured and found wanting. You will serve the Imperium as resource gatherers and laborers." As the diplomatic theater played out, Commander Chen received a priority message from FleetCom. Earth's leaders had made their decision. Resistance would commence at her command. "All stations, prepare for Chimera activation," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future resting on her next words. "On my mark, disengage camouflage matrices and power up offensive systems." The bridge crew worked with practiced precision, each member acutely aware they were about to reveal humanity's greatest technological achievement and its greatest gamble. "Vordax flagship is powering weapons," Mehta reported suddenly. "They're targeting the Pacific. Appears to be an uninhabited island. They're going to demonstrate their firepower." Chen's eyes narrowed. "They're not even waiting for their own deadline. Typical." She straightened in her command chair. "All Earth defense vessels, execute Chimera protocol now." Throughout Earth's orbit, dozens of seemingly insignificant maintenance ships and satellites shimmered as advanced holographic camouflage disengage. The vessels expanded, revealing their true forms as sleek warships with pulsing blue energy signatures emanating from gravitational displacement drives. Defense platforms emerged from hidden positions in the lunar orbit, their weapons already locked on Vordax targets. On the Vordax command ship, Supreme Commander Varric received urgent reports of the transformation occurring before his compound eyes. For the first time in his 3-century military career, he felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. "Impossible," Supreme Commander Varric hissed as the tactical display updated to show the transformed human fleet. What had appeared as insignificant maintenance vessels and satellites seconds ago now registered as warships with energy signatures that defied Vordax classification systems. On the Defiance, Commander Chen didn't waste the moment of surprise. "All vessels, execute attack pattern Epsilon. Target their weapons systems and propulsion only." The human fleet moved with a fluidity that bewildered Vordax tacticians, whose battle algorithms relied on mathematical precision and predictable engagement patterns. Lieutenant Jackson Kim, piloting the stealth corvette Swift Justice, executed a maneuver that brought his ship within point-blank range of a Vordax cruiser before the alien vessel could reorient its weapons. "Pulse emitters ready," Kim reported. "Firing now." Rather than conventional weapons, the Swift Justice released a targeted electromagnetic pulse calibrated specifically to disrupt Vordax neural networks, technology based on insights gleaned from the Martian archives. The effect was immediate. The massive cruiser's external lights flickered as command systems temporarily failed. Across Earth orbit, similar scenes played out as human vessels demonstrated combat techniques the Vordax had never encountered. The human ships moved unpredictably, sometimes accelerating in ways that seemed to defy physics, the result of gravitational displacement technology that bent space around each vessel. "They're adapting," warned Lieutenant Meta, watching as the Vordax fleet reorganized its formation. Their flagship is signaling the fleet to focus fire on the Defiance. 3 enormous Vordax dreadnoughts moved to surround Chen's vessel, their weapons charging with enough power to vaporize a small moon. "Engineering. Status on shield capacity," Chen demanded. Dr. Torres's voice came through with the sounds of frantic activity in the background. "Shields at maximum, but they won't withstand concentrated fire from 3 dreadnoughts." Chen studied the tactical display, her mind racing through options. The Martian archives had theorized a desperate defensive measure, but it had never been tested in actual combat. "Prepare for shield inversion on my mark," she ordered. "Divert all power from non-essential systems." Torres's voice betrayed her shock. "Commander, shield inversion hasn't been field tested. The energy feedback could damage our own systems." "Better damaged than destroyed," Chen replied firmly. "Execute inversion on my mark." As the Vordax dreadnoughts fired simultaneously, Chen gave the command. The Defiance's quantum shields absorbed the tremendous energy of the alien weapons, and instead of attempting to dissipate it, the shield system inverted its polarity, creating a cascading energy wave that pulsed outward. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The feedback wave temporarily disrupted the Vordax weapon systems, leaving the massive ships vulnerable for precious seconds. "All vessels, focus fire on the flagship's propulsion system," Chen ordered. Human ships converged with coordinated precision, targeting the temporarily defenseless Vordax command vessel. Quantum-tipped missiles penetrated the alien ship's outer hull, detonating precisely at key structural points. In the Vordax command center, Supreme Commander Varric struggled to comprehend what was happening. These humans were fighting in ways that contradicted every tactical principle in Imperial doctrine. As damage reports flooded in, Varric dispatched an urgent message to the Imperium's Central Command. "Human resistance exceeds all projections. Their technology and tactics are unprecedented. Request immediate reinforcements and authorization for extreme measures." On the Defiance's bridge, a grim smile touched Chen's lips as sensor readings confirmed they had successfully disabled the Vordax flagship's main propulsion systems. The first battle for Earth's freedom had begun, and humanity had drawn first blood. "Breach alerts on decks 7 through 9. Lieutenant Rodriguez called out as the Defiance rocked from multiple impacts. "Vordax boarding pods have penetrated our outer hull." Commander Chen's expression hardened. The temporary advantage gained by their shield inversion maneuver was already fading as the Vordax adapted their tactics. Rather than continuing to engage from a distance, they had shifted to direct boarding actions, likely intending to capture human technology intact. "Security teams to all breach points," Chen ordered. "Seal bulkheads between sections and initiate internal defense protocols." Marine Captain Maya Ortega acknowledged the order from her position in the ship's armory. Her teams were already donning their graviton combat suits, experimental armor that amplified human strength and speed through localized gravity manipulation. "Marines, remember your training," Ortega instructed as she activated her own suit. "The Vordax are physically stronger, but our suits will help level the playing field. Use the ship's architecture to your advantage. They're not familiar with our layout." The boarding parties breached multiple sections simultaneously. 8-foot-tall Vordax warriors, their exoskeletons gleaming under the emergency lighting, advanced through the corridors with plasma weapons drawn. Their movements were precise and coordinated, the result of centuries of military conditioning. In engineering, Dr. Torres and her team worked frantically to restore full shield functionality as the sounds of combat grew closer. A nearby explosion rocked the compartment, sending tools scattering across the deck. Containment field around the quantum core is starting to fluctuate, reported Ensign Parker, her hands moving rapidly across the control surfaces. If it collapses, we'll lose displacement capability. Torres nodded grimly. Reroute power from life support on decks 12 through 15. They'd been evacuated already. We need to stabilize that containment field at all costs. 3 decks above, Captain Ortega's squad engaged the first wave of Vordax boarders. The aliens advanced with methodical precision, clearly expecting minimal resistance from physically inferior humans. They were unprepared for the Marines' graviton suits, which allowed the humans to move with surprising speed and strength. Team 2, flank right, Ortega commanded through her tactical comm. Team 3, reconfigure gravity plating in Section C. Give them a surprise. When a group of Vordax rounded the corner into Section C, the Marines remotely altered the corridor's artificial gravity. The aliens suddenly found themselves pulled sideways into the bulkhead, their movements disoriented as they struggled against the shifted gravitational field. The human Marines pressed their advantage, using focused electromagnetic pulses to disrupt the aliens' neural networks. The Vordax had clearly expected a straightforward fight against weaker opponents, not this creative application of technology and environment as weapons. On the bridge, Commander Chen monitored the defense efforts while developing their next strategic move. The Vordax boarding action presented both danger and opportunity. "Lieutenant Meta, what's the status of the Vordax flagship?" she asked. "Still disabled, Commander, but their secondary vessels are moving to provide protection. They're also launching more boarding pods toward our sister ships." Chen nodded. "Inform Captain Ortega to capture a Vordax officer if possible. We need their command codes." In the midst of the battle, Dr. Torres's voice came through on the command channel. "Commander, I've completed analysis of the Vordax weapons fire. Their energy signatures contain exploitable harmonic frequencies. If we recalibrate our deflectors, we might be able to absorb and redirect their own firepower against them." For the first time since the battle began, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Human adaptability and creative problem-solving, qualities the Vordax hierarchy, clearly undervalued, were proving to be their greatest advantages against an enemy that outgunned and outnumbered them. "Make it happen, Doctor," she replied. "It's time to show our visitors what humans do best, turning disadvantages into opportunities." Captain Ortega's voice crackled over the comm system. "Commander, we've secured a prisoner. Appears to be a Vordax officer based on armor markings." Chen nodded in satisfaction. "Bring the officer to secure holding on Deck 4. Have Dr. Elias Okoro meet you there." As the battle raged throughout the ship, Dr. Okoro, the Defiance's chief xenolinguist, hurried to the holding area. Unlike most of the crew, his role had been largely theoretical until this moment. Studying the language and cultural fragments found in the Martian archives, preparing for a first contact that many believed might never come. The captured Vordax officer towered over the human guards despite being restrained in a kneeling position. Its compound eyes shifted rapidly, analyzing the holding cell and the humans surrounding it. "You have made a grave miscalculation," the Vordax stated in its own language, mandibles clicking. "The Dominion will reduce your world to ash for this resistance." Okoro's eyes widened. The translator implant had rendered the alien speech perfectly, but one word stood out: Dominion. "What Dominion?" Okoro asked carefully, stepping closer to the prisoner. The Vordax's compound eyes focused on Okoro, displaying what might have been surprise. "You truly know nothing. The Vordax Imperium serves the Celestial Dominion, as all advanced species must. Your extinction was ordered the moment your neural patterns were analyzed." On the bridge, Commander Chen received Okoro's urgent transmission. "Commander, the prisoner mentioned something called the Celestial Dominion, a higher authority that apparently ordered our extinction specifically. This matches fragmentary references in the Martian archives." Chen frowned. "Why would an advanced coalition target Earth specifically? We've barely reached our own solar system. Meanwhile, In the ship's secure data core, Dr. Torres had made a breakthrough. While examining the Vordax systems through captured technology, she discovered encryption patterns that matched those found in the most heavily secured sections of the Martian archives, sections that had resisted all decryption attempts. "Commander," Torres reported, "I've used Vordax encryption keys to access previously locked sections of the Martian data. You need to see this immediately." The information flowed to Chen's secure terminal. Star charts identifying dozens of worlds subjugated by the Celestial Dominion, a coalition of 7 ancient species that ruled through proxy enforcers like the Vordax. More critically, the archives contained brain scan comparisons between various species, with human neural patterns highlighted as anomalous. "Our brains are different," Chen murmured as she studied the data. "According to this, humans possess unique neural pathways that make us naturally resistant to some kind of psychic influence the Dominion uses to control subject species." Dr. Okoro's voice joined the conversation. "Commander," the prisoner just confirmed it. "He called humans mind-blind and said our species represents an existential threat because we cannot be properly controlled through their standard methods." Chen's mind raced with the implications. Earth wasn't facing a simple conquest. They were facing extermination because humanity's very neurological structure made them dangerous to this galactic order. On the main view screen, sensors detected new energy signatures as Vordax reinforcements arrived through jump points near Jupiter. "They're bringing in their heavy fleet," Lieutenant Meta reported grimly. "At least 3 times the size of the first wave." Chen stood, her decision made. "Dr. Torres, how quickly can you implement the Martian communication protocols we just unlocked?" "An hour, maybe less." "Why?" "Because," Chen said with determination in her voice, "if humanity is naturally resistant to their control methods, there might be other species who would join us if they knew resistance was possible. It's time to break the Dominion's information monopoly. Earth's orbital defenses won't withstand a full Vordax assault fleet," Admiral Yamamoto stated grimly from Fleetcom headquarters. His holographic image flickered slightly as it projected onto the Defiance's tactical table. "Even with our technological surprises, we're outnumbered and outgunned." Commander Chen studied the strategic display, showing the approaching Vordax reinforcements. "Admiral, the Martian archives contain coordinates for the nearest Vordax command hub, Outpost Krell 9. It controls operations across 3 star systems and houses thousands of beings from subjugated worlds." "You're not suggesting," the Admiral began. "A strike mission," Chen finished, "not to destroy, but to liberate. The archives indicate that many enslaved species have been waiting for an opportunity to resist. They just needed to know it was possible." After a long pause, Yamamoto nodded. "Take your most advanced vessels. Earth's remaining defenses will hold as long as possible." As the hologram faded, Commander Wei approached. "The crew should know what we're attempting." Chen activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the commander. The Defiance, along with the Intrepid and Swift Justice, will execute a long-range strike against the Vordax command hub. Our mission is not mere survival. It's liberation. Make your preparations. We depart in 30 minutes. In engineering, Dr. Torres calibrated the newly understood Martian displacement drive, technology that would allow the small strike force to travel faster than any human vessel had before. The quantum formulas scrolled across her screens, principles that defied conventional physics. "If the calculations are even slightly off," she muttered to herself, "we'll be scattered across 3 light-years of space." On Deck 4, Dr. Okoro worked with the captured Vordax officer, who had become surprisingly cooperative after learning of humanity's neural resistance to Dominion control. "My people serve because we must," the alien explained. "The Dominion's influence subtly reshapes thoughts, making resistance seem impossible. But your species, your minds simply reject the manipulation. And that's why you were ordered to exterminate us," Okoro concluded. The Vordax's mandibles clicked in what might have been regret. A free-thinking species with your adaptability represents the Dominion's greatest fear. For what it's worth, I find your resistance admirable. 28 minutes later, the strike team assembled in the Defiance's launch bay. Captain Ortega briefed her Marines on their mission parameters. "This isn't about destruction," she emphasized. "We're bringing hope to beings who've lived under subjugation for generations. Our neural resistance may be unique, but our desire for freedom isn't. Remember that." On the bridge, Commander Chen gave the final order as Earth's defensive fleet engaged the approaching Vordax reinforcements. "Activate displacement drive," she commanded. Space itself seemed to fold around the 3 human vessels as they disappeared from Earth's solar system. The sensation was disorienting, like being stretched and compressed simultaneously, but lasted only moments. When reality stabilized, the view screen showed an enormous space station orbiting a ringed gas giant. Outpost Krell 9 loomed before them, its sprawling structure housing the administrative center that controlled an entire sector of Vordax-dominated space. "We've done it," Lieutenant Meta whispered in awe. "Perfect positioning, just outside their sensor range." Chen nodded, her focus absolute. "Begin Phase 2. Deploy stealth probes and prepare the Martian broadcast system." "Dr. Torres, how long until you can override their communications network?" 15 minutes, Commander," Torres replied. "Their security is formidable, but the Martian protocols are finding pathways we couldn't have imagined." As the human vessels moved silently toward the outpost, Chen studied the alien structure. Within those walls were representatives of dozens of species, all laboring under Dominion control, none knowing that the possibility of freedom was approaching from an unexpected direction. A small blue planet that had been deemed too dangerous to allow continued existence. "Breach detected in communication subsystems," announced a Vordax technician on Outpost Krell 9's operations deck. "Unknown encryption pattern is overriding security protocols." Station Commander Kelzak straightened to his full height, compound eyes narrowing. "Isolate and purge the intrusion. Notify Dominion security immediately." But it was already too late. Throughout the massive station, communication screens flickered and changed. In living quarters, work areas, and containment zones, thousands of beings from dozens of subjugated species watched in astonishment as an unfamiliar face appeared. A human female with determined eyes. "I am Commander Eliza Chen of Earth," the message began, broadcasting simultaneously in 17 different languages, thanks to Dr. Okuro's linguistic algorithms. "The Celestial Dominion has lied to you. Freedom is possible. Resistance is possible. The influence they use to control your thoughts cannot affect human minds. We are here to prove that the Dominion can be defeated." Aboard the Defiance, Shen watched as Dr. Torres monitored the broadcast's progress. "Message successfully deployed to all sectors of the station," Torres reported. "I'm also detecting transmissions spreading beyond Krell 9 to nearby systems." Lieutenant Meta's voice cut in with urgency. "Commander, station defenses are activating. They've detected our position." "Right on schedule," Chen replied calmly. "Captain Ortega, commence boarding operation." Lieutenant Kim positioned the Swift Justice to intercept any vessels attempting to leave the station. The human ships moved with precision, their true capabilities now fully revealed. The Defiance's weapon systems targeted the station's defensive arrays with surgical accuracy, disabling rather than destroying. Inside the station, chaos erupted as the effects of the broadcast rippled through the population. Species that had served the Dominion for generations found themselves suddenly questioning commands. Vordax security forces struggled to maintain control as workers and slaves began impromptu rebellions throughout the station. Captain Ortega led the first boarding team onto the station, her Marines moving swiftly through access corridors. Unlike the Vordax boarding of the Defiance, the humans didn't encounter unified resistance. Instead, they found allies. Beings who had heard Chen's message and recognized their chance for freedom. A slender, six-limbed engineer from the Xorley species approached Ortega's team cautiously. The human broadcast. Is it true? Are you immune to the Dominion's influence? Completely immune, Ortega confirmed. And we've brought technology that can shield others from it as well. The ex-Orlay's multifaceted eyes widened. There are 12 other species in this sector alone who would join you if they knew this was possible. On the station's command level, Dr. Okoro made perhaps the most significant discovery yet. Working with allied species, he accessed the station's central database, a repository of Dominion knowledge spanning centuries. Commander, he transmitted to Chen, his voice tight with excitement. I found references to failed Dominion expansion attempts. There are regions of space they avoid entirely, sectors where they encountered species with natural resistance similar to humans. The Dominion isn't as all-powerful as they want everyone to believe. In the Celestial Dominion's Central Council chamber, light years away, the 7 ruling species convened an emergency session. For the first time in living memory, the Ancient Alliance faced genuine discord. The human contagion must be contained, insisted the Vordak's representative. Their resistance inspires others. Already, 3 systems report unrest. The Xilari Counselor, oldest of the ruling species, raised a delicate appendage. Perhaps we have been hasty. These humans demonstrate capabilities worthy of study, not immediate destruction. As the debate intensified, none of the council members noticed a subtle alteration in their communication systems, a backdoor created through human-modified Martian protocols, allowing every word of their panic to be transmitted directly to Commander Chen's tactical display. Chen smiled as she listened to the Dominion's fear. Dr. Torres, how soon can we establish stable communication with Earth? Connection established, Commander. Fleetcom is standing by. Excellent, Chen replied. Inform Admiral Yamamoto that the first phase is complete. The awakening has begun. 3 months after the liberation of Outpost Krell 9, Earth's solar system had transformed. Orbital platforms bristled with defensive systems incorporating technologies shared by grateful allied species. Ships from 15 formerly subjugated worlds now trained alongside human vessels, their crews learning to work in concert despite vast biological and cultural differences. On the Defiance, now upgraded with innovations from a half-dozen worlds, Commander Chen studied the long-range sensor readings with growing concern. They finally committed their full force, she noted as the display showed hundreds of vessels emerging from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. The Dominion Armada dwarfed anything humanity had faced before, not just Vordak ships, but vessels representing all 7 ruling species. Central vessel is massive, Lieutenant Meta reported. Energy readings suggest it carries a singularity weapon capable of collapsing our sun. Dr. Torres looked up from her station. The gravitational manipulation network is ready, Commander. All nodes are synchronized. Chen nodded. Over the past months, humanity had deployed a system-wide network of devices based on Martian principles that could bend and redirect gravitational forces, their final defensive measure against the Dominion's planet-killer technology. All ships, battle stations, Chen ordered. Inform our allies to take their assigned positions. The Free Worlds Coalition, as the Alliance had named itself, moved into formation. Each species brought unique strengths. The crystalline Talari vessels with their impenetrable hulls, the insectoid Xorlay ships with unparalleled sensor capabilities, and dozens more, all following the strategic doctrine developed by human commanders. As the Dominion Armada approached, a transmission request came through on all frequencies. The being that appeared on the view screen belonged to a species never before seen by humans, a seraphim, one of the eldest Dominion rulers. Its translucent body pulsed with internal light as it spoke. This rebellion ends today, the seraphim announced. Your resistance, while noteworthy, cannot prevail against the established order of millennia. Surrender now, and some of your species may be preserved in controlled habitats. Chen stood, her expression resolute. The time for threats has passed. We offer you instead an opportunity to join a new kind of galactic community, one built on cooperation rather than domination. The Seraphim's light pulsed with what might have been amusement. Your species has existed for a cosmic eye blink. The Dominion has maintained order for 50,000 years. Perhaps that's been long enough, Chen replied. Look at what we've accomplished in just 3 months. She transmitted images of the Free Worlds Coalition, former enemies working together, sharing knowledge, solving problems collectively. The Dominion flagship began powering its singularity weapon. Chen gave the order that humanity had prepared for since discovering the Martian archives. Activate gravitational manipulation network. Throughout the solar system, hidden devices engaged simultaneously. A shimmering field extended outward, encompassing Earth and its allies. When the Dominion fired their planet killer, the destructive energy was caught, redirected, and dispersed harmlessly into empty space. For the first time in recorded history, the Dominion's ultimate weapon had failed. In the stunned silence that followed, Chen opened a channel to all ships, Dominion and Coalition alike. This is how the future begins, she declared, not with extinction, but with a choice. Your weapons cannot destroy us. Your influence cannot control us. But we still extend our hand in peace. Join us in building something new, or remain anchored to the past, while the galaxy evolves around you. On Earth and a dozen other worlds, billions watched as the Dominion Armada held position, neither attacking nor retreating. And in that moment of hesitation, Commander Eliza Chen knew that humanity had already won its most important victory, proving that the stars themselves could be rewritten by those brave enough to imagine a different future.